Alright, good morning. If you're a professing believer in the Messiah and you don't know exactly what Hosea chapter 6 verses 6 and 7 means, you're an idiot. Straight up, you're an idiot. Okay? Now, the reason why I say this is not because I'm sitting here thinking, oh, I understand everything in the Bible and, I understand every chapter and verse, because I don't. But Hosea 6 and 7, I absolutely do understand exactly what that means. And the reason why is because your Messiah, Yeshua, told you to go and learn what it means twice. And so if you haven't gone and learnt what it means, then that means that you're not really listening to the Messiah. And if you're professing belief in the Messiah, but you're not even listening to him, then that makes you an idiot. Okay? So, I'll tell you what it means. He's teaching you the gospel. Okay? Because Hosea chapter 6 verses 6 and 7 is the gospel in a nice little nutshell of 2 verses. So it says, I desired mercy and not sacrifice, and the knowledge of God more than burnt offerings. But they like men have transgressed the covenant, and there they have dealt treacherously against me. Okay? So, in those verses, God is telling you what he wants from us. He's telling us what he desires. And that is mercy and the knowledge of God. That's what God wanted for his people. And the way that he was going to give that to his people would be if they kept the Holy Covenant. Because the Holy Covenant is the agreement between Jehovah and his people. Exodus 19, if you keep this covenant, I will be your God and you will be my people. And you will be a kingdom of priests and a peculiar treasure and a holy priesthood. That idiom that you see time and time again referring to Jehovah's people, it's like with the prerequisite that they're keeping the Holy Covenant. You see that in 1 Peter 2 as well. Okay? So long as the people kept the Holy Covenant, they would have received mercy and the knowledge of God. Okay? But because they, like men, have transgressed and broken the Holy Covenant, that means that everyone's breaking the 10 Commandments, which, look around, the church is teaching us that, we're not under the law, you don't have to keep the Sabbath anymore. We're not under the law, we're under grace. Like, you people don't even know what you're saying. The grace of God is his conviction on your heart to keep the Holy Covenant, because God was so sick of his people breaking the Holy Covenant that he gave us his spirit of conviction in our hearts so that we would keep it. Okay? So, the way that God shows us mercy is by giving us that conviction. And then he wants us to show each other mercy by speaking to each other with conviction. That's in Hebrews 10, that we are supposed to speak to each other and provoke each other unto good works. Okay? Provoking each other unto good works means that you're going to be convicting your neighbor to keep the 10 Commandments and to teach others to do so. And if you do that, you fulfill the law, which is in Romans 13. If you love your neighbor as yourself, you fulfill the law. Because the honorable parts of the law that the Messiah came to magnify was loving God and loving your neighbor. And in those 2 commandments hangs all the law and the prophets. Okay? So that's how you show mercy. And then the knowledge of God is when you are being obedient to God and you are keeping his holy covenant, he is going to give you the Holy Spirit of truth. And when he gives you the Holy Spirit of truth, he's going to start to reveal his word to you. Okay, this is the promise in John 14. So, when he starts revealing his word unto you, that is him giving you the meat in due season. And Matthew 24 makes it very clear, Hebrews 5 as well, that those that receive the meat in due season are those who are watching. And the ones who are watching are the ones doing what I've just said, keeping the commandments and teaching others to do so. Right? They're the ones that receive the meat in due season. Meat in due season is the knowledge of God. It's the spirit of prophecy. It's the testimony of Yeshua. It is understanding the will of God. It's understanding his like he's told us his entire will. He's told us how he thinks. He's told us what he desires. And when you obey God and he gives you the Holy Spirit, you start to be able to understand these things because he reveals it to you through the meat and due season. And then when he's given you the meat and due season, you're supposed to proclaim it, because when God gives you that meat and due season, he's telling you what he wants you to say. He's telling you what to proclaim. What he whispers in your ear, you shout from the rooftops. Okay? So, these are the two things that God wanted us to receive. But because men broke the Holy Covenant, instead they had to receive sacrificial law. So instead they had to offer sacrifice and burnt offering. God didn't want us to receive those things, but it was the just punishment for breaking the Holy Covenant time and time again. Okay? So if you want to actually listen to the Messiah, then you are going to, if you actually listen to him, you are going to be able to offer God the things that he desires. Because what are we? We're servants. We're supposed to be serving him. Okay? The Christians have it the other way around. They think that God is supposed to be serving us. That's why they all proclaim the burden of the Lord, the burden of the Lord. Just like they were told not to in Jeremiah 23. Now, I know I'm going to be speaking over most Christians' heads saying that, so I'll explain it. When all of you Christians say that you're saved by grace, meaning unmerited favor, that is you proclaiming the burden of the Lord. And that is blasphemy of the Holy Spirit. That is doing despite unto the Spirit of grace. That is treading underfoot the Son of God and counting the blood of the covenant wherewith you were sanctified an unholy thing. So, all of you Christians who think that, God changed his law for you, as in, oh, here's my standard of righteousness, keep it, and then for some reason when the Messiah comes along, he changes his mind and says, no, you actually don't have to keep it. Yeah, you're just saved by this unmerited favor. No. God has given us these blessings in the form of the Holy Spirit of grace in order to help us keep his standard of righteousness. That has never changed. He's always wanted you to keep his holy covenant. And that will never change. Okay? He's telling you, the Messiah told you to go and learn Hosea 6:6. And he told you to do that twice. So if you haven't done that, you're an idiot.